I don't even
I
know.
feel like I can do, kind of a good episode here.
I don't even know what this one's on. Beatles? Have you heard about the new Neil Young album?
No.
It's called Barn, dude.
More Barn?
With Crazy Horse. There's like a trailer online I saw.
He's getting in on it.
They're like in the barn, man. Recording, dude.
They're recording?
They're recording.
With Bezos?
In the barn, dude.
Are they on Apple or Amazon, right?
And there's one song's kind of like,
While
back
you were
in
on
the
Facebook.
good old days.
Oh, yeah. Of course. When did he switch to being like a Reaganite kind of like
that was only,
let's roll kind of era?
Well, that was only for the Reagan stuff was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Old Ways album.
That would be when he switched. American Stars and Bars? Is he kind of making a way there?
No, later than that. Because that's like mid 70s kind of. Like that's like all the stuff that wound up being homegrown and all that.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
Is that record Homegrown good when it came out?
The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool.
Is it kind of like Smile?
It's
like Brian Wilson's Smile?
It's a lot less demented than that. It just sounds like a Neil. It's like songs but like different versions and a few new ones that are just like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's worth listening to. Like, you'd like it.
So he's getting in on the kind of, with this new thing of like the mixed media.
As far as I can tell, if I could summarize his career from the
beginning
80s on.
Oh, 80s onwards.
From the beginning I could too, but I'll start.
We could do that. We got like an hour. And I'm not exactly
I'm going to do it in like 10 seconds.
Talk about the Beatles the whole
He
time.
got into Reagan and got into country, Old Ways, and like during his like lawsuit thing, and like got into Reagan, and it was kind of weird. Became
this
like
is after trans.
Republican cowboy.
Yeah. And he got into trains because his kids had cerebral palsy and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff to do with that going on in his life at that time. Then he kind of went grunge. Ragged Glory.
Weld.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like all the grunge people liked him, so he kind of hooked up with Pearl Jam, did Mirrorball. Yeah. Then like Harvest Moon, obviously a highlight in there.
Yeah. Brandon's favorite.
That's just a classic Neil.
That's just him.
This is a classic
I can still do it.
Yeah,
still got it.
Exactly. Great album.
Yeah.
Then kind of in the late 90s, I guess he got into the like Greendale kind of theater.
Well, that was kind of when he became more of a kind of environmentalist.
Yeah. Around then.
He wasn't really a Reagan kind of extraction era kind of. No. He kind of was over like earth extraction.
Yeah.
And more into like, he wasn't into like oil and stuff then. He was kind of more into like Zelda.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greendale was kind of like the Shire, actually.
It was, and I think they did the set on stage and everything.
Oh, they did.
People like a farmer. And
it's kind of American pastoral.
Yeah. It's just a dream, only a dream.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
100%.
And then 9/11 hit.
Yeah.
And he went straight living with war, like anti-Bush kind of stuff.
Okay. But Let's Roll was kind of like, like, kind of like
that's
the common man shit.
Yeah, that's on an album, a different album.
But that's 9/11, of course.
Then the Iraq War broke out.
Right.
And he went like hard against Bush.
Okay. I think Greendale's after that, no? Greendale's like 2008 or something.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe he kind of like repented a little bit. He was also into the that bad flag, the Confederate flag for a bit, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I think he was into it for a little bit. I mean, he got away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny as well. Luke always says, like, Americans think... It's Luke, I think. It's like, he's American to Americans. Mm-hmm. He's Californian.
They all say that about Joni and Neil, and everyone from California thinks that.
Nice to see Joni up and about, hey?
Yeah.
Totally. With her Kennedy Center, kind of...
I saw that.
Yeah. Nice to see her up and about.
Could you believe that photo I sent you of Neil backstage with Paul in like 76?
Amazing.
And Linda like chilling.
Maybe that's why
it looked like a Neil show because he had the harmonica on. Which I inferred meant
Tonight's the Night?
Paul no would have been like kind of probably like Euro tour Crazy Horse, like around the American Stars and Bars era.
Post-Zuma.
Post Zuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that. Like a Hurricane. Kind of Rust
Mansion
Never
on a
Sleeps.
Hill.
No, that's
early Rust Never Sleeps.
yeah, that kind of tour. That's the vibe I get.
Not got the big amps yet.
I mean, I didn't. They did. It's just a side stage.
He's
photo.
not like white suit Neil.
No, that's Tonight's the Night.
I know, that's what I mean.
No, he's like plaid shirt, harmonica. But the thing is,
Back to the farm.
yeah. But the thing is, the big revelation
Yeah.
is that Paul and Linda are there at the show.
Yeah.
Meaning, Paul's a fan of Neil.
Huge.
And I know this. I don't know how I was so obtuse that I missed this.
You were never
but I know
obtuse.
that Paul went to the bridge school.
Yes.
And
'Cause you were there.
Yeah, I was there. So he's buddy, and they did a duet. Only
Yeah.
Love Can Break Your Heart. And
The most McCartney of all his songs.
for sure. And I'll take it one further. So this is a big plus.
Till the Morning Comes, actually, that's pretty Macca. Cripple Creek Ferry's pretty Macca.
It's kind of Georgie to me.
Okay.
Till the Morning Comes.
I'm gonna give you till the morning comes. Oh, okay. Kind of I, me, mine. Bit of a pirate vibe. I guess ferries
So
are
is
kind of
Cripple
pirate.
Creek Ferry.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, and
Cripple
that's
Creek
very,
Ferry.
No, it's kind of, okay, that's interesting because it's like, that's like pirate, but also kind of worker, like union pirate.
Yeah,
Kind of,
for sure.
yeah.
Which is kind of more Pilgrim a bit. I don't know.
I mean, Pilgrim would be Union Energies Pilgrim.
The
generally,
one
but-
that has a real George
But
vibe
kind of
is the
actually
old
Disney.
man living on the side of the road. That's the real
yeah,
George
that's
vibe.
very All Things Must Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, All Things Must Pass is doesn't sound like any other George. It's just this one-off record.
Because of Phil Spector, probably.
Yeah, maybe. You know, it sold
Anyway-
loads more than McCartney's.
Oh, yeah.
And it was miles bigger than...
It's a great album. I know
yeah,
you're not a
I've
big
heard- I think
But
I've
anyway,
heard of
to
it.
complete the point,
Yeah.
the point is, we all know that George
We do.
said Neil's only good for a laugh.
Good for a laugh, yeah.
But so big plus for Paul
Yes.
that he's a fan.
Yeah.
Like that's because there's been a lot of Paul. I know there's a lot of
Bashing.
negative stuff to say about him right now, but I'm just saying he likes Neil.
Do you think hey, welcome to Impossible Way of Life, your alternative official take on the Beatles, Peter Jackson, Beatles times Peter Jackson, Get
Trilogy.
Back trilogy. And, we're winding down here with our personal reactions, but don't worry, we'll get through Crystal New Year, if I have anything to do with it, with guests who can then kind of like, hopefully just kind of, I suppose, like carry the podcast basically through until the new year with their takes on specific things. And I want to say,
I would imagine they're frothing at the mouth.
I would imagine they're frothing, chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
And I will say, this is a free episode, but if you like this, there's a whole lot more going on Patreon that you've got to check out. As a fan, you need to know. And it is on a need-to-know basis. I'm playing some shows coming up this next week in real life, and I'll tell you, the level of excitement you get being in the green room at those shows is next to none. Like, you couldn't believe it.
Been a while for me.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Well,
for Saturday.
It's been a while for you on those terms, but digitally you do it every Sunday.
Oh, I'm holding court every Sunday.
And you can join us in that green room to talk about the Beatles every Sunday.
Go ahead, go over to our fridge, grab a beer.
Hey, listen, it's no problem. I won't let it affect my performance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good. A couple of Coors in there. Mm-hmm. So this is a Wednesday. Me and Johnny are having a Shiraz right now. No, actually, it's a Côte de Rhône. So we're kind of on the French stuff. I was kind of thinking,
Pivoting a bit.
I was pivoting, But on Sundays, I'm not pulling out the Côte de Rhône. We got Chateau Patras out here. We're top shelf. They have to open the bottles of wine we drink when we're talking about the Beatles on Sunday's episodes with hot tongs, because they're from the 60s, these bottles.
Wow.
So they don't want to cork them, right? That's how they do
that.
it.
It was
that's
a
how
damn
we do
fine glass of wine, though. Tell you that.
So anyway, that's what's going on. And I was going to say something prior to that, but I kind of got carried away. We were talking about Neil Young, Paul McCartney. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think...
You're saying we were winding down.
Oh, I know what it was. Do you think Paul because we're getting into like towards the end of the third episode here now. This is us dissecting Get Back, Act 3, Part 2 of our dissection. Do you think at this point his gambit, which I think was, and we talked about it early on, was because obviously he's produced his own character in, there's no way he's going to let Peter Jackson put anything in that he doesn't like.
From Get Back to Costco Connection magazine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got his book out with his lyrics.
Yep. McCartney 321.
Yeah. He's hanging out with Grohl and he's in, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you think his gamble has paid off? His gamble being, I'm going to allow myself to seem at times cantankerous and complicated in the documentary, but people will realize that it was all worth it because of my artistic genius. And how do you think that has played out?
I would say that the gambit has paid off 100%.
Interesting. Can you want to
Maybe
elaborate?
not for people like us.
Yeah.
Who like the real kind of Beatlesologists who can see through what's going on, but to the average viewer, Paul's going to come across like a genius.
Right.
In that movie. Those are the big moments. He's the one working hard to keep it together.
Yeah.
The other guys are lazy. They're this.
Yeah.
But we see that there's some sort of darkness with him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think as far as like the public is concerned, he comes across as the most serious musician and the most talented.
And he has all the songs, I guess, too.
In the film.
Yeah. And he kind of has the big breakthrough moments, the get back moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has the kind of reticence, the sort of, at times, also his personal life is choreographed in the most beautiful way too. Like he seems to have like a nuclear, wholesome family.
Well, I mean, he did, I guess.
Well, I guess so, you know. But it's very, picturesque. He's got the kid on his shoulders. They're all, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of no matter how they framed it, it would have been hard to not make him come across as like the most musically together and ambitious. Yeah. But I think he got away with just showing enough of everybody being difficult.
Yes.
That he'll just kind of be one of they were all bickering. You know what I mean? Like he's not really.
Second question. Do you think anyone's really watched it?
I don't, actually.
No.
I don't, because everything that we've been sort of like, exploding about on this show, our brains exploded, the
literally exploded.
The Act 2 hidden camera, the lack of coverage on the rooftop, just the sheer magnitude of the footage itself.
Yeah.
It's all seemed pretty
chill.
Yeah, like the reviews are just like, it was great.
Pretty good stuff.
Good time. Yeah. Nice experience.
It's one of the only times I would agree with Rick Rubin's response to Paul on McCartney 321 or whatever, when he said, "What is going on?"
I know.
Like, I feel like I'm kind of now understanding Rick Rubin from the perspective of someone, he's obviously a very established, phenomenal producer.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of now, we made fun of him at the time for like sort of simplifying and reducing what he was listening to just these kind of grand statements, these obtuse statements. But now I'm kind of, that's all I've got. I'm fugue state, like, what is even happening?
Well, I think us watching Get Back was the equivalent of him having access to those tapes.
Yeah, and I think
those audio tapes, and we reacted that way watching it.
Yeah.
Imagine if we were on that board with the tapes, I'd probably be saying, what the hell's going on,
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, though, we'll never hear it. And that's a big point of contention for me and Johnny and for the Impossible Way of Life. Family. Mm-hmm. Where and why the hell have none of us actually seen the entire rooftop concert at this point in history? Also,
how come I can't just get access to all the audio files?
Yeah.
to just mix in my own studio and
Yeah.
have a good time with.
What's the issue?
Release the tapes. We all know it.
Release the tapes. Release the tapes. Everyone.
All I want to do is just get a bottle of tequila,
Yeah.
bring my laptop,
Yeah.
you know,
It was Cyber Monday. You bought a couple of new plugins.
over to the Palm Beach Inn on Kingsway
Yeah.
and whatever.
I know.
And
the
all
El Dorado. or
get a few
whatever.
some Beatlesy plugins.
Yeah, waves. Kinda.
Yeah, whatever.
That AR1 Kush audio, very new.
sure.
Yeah, try it out.
And then I want to have a TV
Yeah.
with just the rooftop concert. No street level interview footage. No
cops,
bullshit.
None of that shit.
I want to watch it, and then when I'm finished, I'm gonna remix all their songs
Let it be
for
Johnny's
days,
version.
for days and days.
Days? I'm thinking a lifetime. You know, there was a guy on Victoria, BC's Facebook kind of community forum who is right now trying to get, as a passion project, he says it's his life's work. Nevrock told me about this. He wants to get 4 Who lookalikes. 4 people who look like they could be in the Who. And this guy's an old man. And he wants to get them. He thinks it's going to take 2 years to put it together.
Seemed a bit
limited
sad,
budget.
Yeah.
And he wants to get these guys to learn the entire Quadrophenia soundtrack and perform it live. And he says after this, he'll drink himself to death like Keith Moon because his work will be complete.
What if it's like his lifelong dream? That stuff kind of breaks my heart.
Maybe it does, but at the same time, if he's willing to put 2 years and 4 people's lives on the line to just do Quadrophenia, and you're saying you're only going to do a couple of days on Let It Be mixes? Come
days
on.
and days, I said.
Yeah.
But
40 days and 40 nights.
You know what I just thought would be amazing?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had the tapes, the files.
Oh, yeah.
And you could take out and you sing the harmony.
Nice.
And then send it to your friends and be like, check this out. It's me singing on Norwegian Wood.
I've always heard it. I've always thought this was a better harmony.
Just
honestly.
Add a third part.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's what Crosby, Stills and Nash did. Blackbird.
Take the guitar solo out.
Do a different one.
You know what I'd love to do?
Tell me.
Is add a few extra bars onto the end.
Yes.
And I get to take a solo too.
Well, you'd need 2 other people to take solos. Oh, no,
I get a fourth.
And then you all do it together.
I'd edit it, so no.
So it's in between.
Yeah, I'm after George.
Yeah, it's not like
and then John
and
goes.
then you all come back in.
Exactly. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Edit a few extra.
So we're not just on Let It Be anymore. We're just on the whole.
Oh, I'm saying I want all the files.
See, I think you're being a little. I think you're being a little bit kind of greedy because I would settle just for Let It Be. Seeing the rooftop concert.
Well, no, that's
entirety.
Fine. I'll start there.
I was thinking we should start some kind of petition.
I agree.
Because I think a lot of people will feel the same way.
Didn't you post something on the official Beatles?
I just was not even, it wasn't even on purpose. The Beatles posted a kind of the Beatles posted this, by the way. The Beatles.
That's cool.
They posted it.
The Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Beatles posted that they were, loving Peter Jackson's de-aging coloration.
The Beatles?
Yeah, the Beatles posted this. They're into it. So the Beatles posted this saying, if you and it kind of sounded like, it was hey, you guys, and it was kind of the voice of the Beatles. If you guys are as in love with Peter Jackson's de-aging techniques as us, comment below. What was your favorite bit? And then it showed a bit of it. And I just...
De-aging? It actually said that?
Well, that's what he does with all that stuff. De-ages the film, not the people.
Oh, I see.
And
I thought you were talking
the
Irishman.
No, Scorsese's going to do that with Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
And I'm there and I'm looking at them and they're behaving like they're Dua Lipa or something. They're asking people to asking for It's the Beatles asking for feedback from their fans about give us a like if you enjoyed Get Back. It's
Let me
twisted.
tell you, if even the Beatles have to kind of troll for likes, then I have no hope in this.
No, we're struggling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was on there and I was looking and the top comment was some fucking guy, I don't know, probably that guy who dresses up like John Lennon in Argentina. It's really depressing.
Yeah.
Worry about him a bit.
I do.
I follow him though.
Yeah.
And, it was like, thank you, Peter Jackson for doing the Lord's work. And it's all these like comments. And I just was like Mussolini from the balcony. Like, release the goddamn tapes. You're the only person who has seen the fucking concert.
Just put it out as a bonus on the Christmas Blu-ray. That's all I ask.
Christmas Blues.
That's all I ask.
Blu-ray.
And I hate to say it because I love the documentary.
Yeah, of course.
But he had a big opportunity that was really missed.
He let down the Beatles fans.
Yeah. And I just think, most people probably liked it.
Right now, the world's pretty Beatlesy.
They think that's funny. The guy being like, "Oh, I don't think they should be playing up there. I'm trying to work."
Yeah.
People think that's funny.
Okay.
You know what I think?
Yeah.
It's nothing funny about that.
No, I think
because I'm missing the first half of the One After 909 solo.
I think it's poison.
Yeah.
I think it's sickening, frankly. And I won't stand for it any longer, Johnny. And
what turn my stomach every time they cut away.
I can barely eat. They don't just cut away. They also side chain the music to the cop. So the cop gets to say, I don't know.
Yeah, they did side chain the music.
It's kind of like hey guys, don't be hippies or something. Yeah. Don't make music.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it sides with the people on the street. It's like, oh, this is just a pleasant moment in history that will, who cares? It's not. It's the Beatles.
You know what else?
Tell me.
Here's the crazy part. They didn't even, as far as I could tell watching that, they didn't get forced to stop.
No.
The cops were up there watching.
Having a good time.
So in the original film, we were led to believe, and George actually says it after. He says, maybe with the footage, we can make it look like we were kicked off, which is a brilliant idea. Yeah. But they weren't. So here's my question. If they weren't forced to leave, why do we care about the cops coming in the building and the whole thing? Like, let's just see the concert. They left because they only had 7 songs. That's what happened.
And you know what? People don't seem to realize this. It's the Beatles.
Yeah.
Like, it's the Beatles' last concert.
Yeah, last concert.
I don't care what Joe Schmo from Lloyd's Bank says as he's walking past. I would never care what that guy says. You'd struggle to find a man on Savile Row in the 1960s that I would care about their opinion, unless they were making a nice suit.
Yeah.
But the sort of average Joe walking around, these bankers, kind of feed the birds, tuppence a bag, kind of Mary Poppins types.
Yes.
I don't care. No one even speaks like that.
Beyond that, it's already been done in the original documentary.
It's the same.
Which is fine. That was his artistic choice.
Yeah. But he also was one of them. Mr. Moog, like...
Peter Jackson. Can't believe it.
I'm disappointed.
Make your own film.
Honestly.
Triple screen. Woodstock mixed with Let It Be.
Yeah.
That was the ending.
That is such a weak move. They may as well have got the guy. It's like asking fucking... They should have got the guy who did chose the soundtrack to the Velvet Underground documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Who has the easiest job in the world. Ask him. Should have got him in for $2 million. And he'd have been like, just play the concert. Let's all go to sleep.
Was there no one in the room who could say that?
What was Giles saying?
I don't know.
What was Giles saying? What was his buddy from Space Hog, Trevor from Space Hog, saying? They were all there.
Well, they mixed it, I guess.
They mixed it. Maybe
side-chained the people.
Maybe he was hungover, and he was just like, Peter, like, I can't even...
it's hard.
Can we just put in the speaking?
And I can't get it clear enough.
I can't get it clear enough. Yeah. It's like, I've got 18 speakers in here.
Can you cover this up?
Can you just cover this up? Because I can't tune John's vocals at this point.
Exactly.
We don't have the technology. Every time I tune his vocals up, it changes George's guitar solo.
Yeah.
We're going to have to... Joaquin's not even here to kind of sign off on it. How are we meant to work in these conditions? Normally we have fresh fruit. We got the best cocaine coming in. And we're here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's fucking freezing and we're in a hobbit hole. How are we meant to work in here? You don't even have papaya. And I had to... I couldn't even get here direct from Burbank. It took a while.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe it's
and
just
he
that.
probably realistically wanted to do the Lord of the Rings tour while he was there.
Well, I mean, what would you do if you were there?
That's the first
Presumably,
thing
Giles was too busy on the Lord of the Rings tour.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that.
It's got a sightsee. It's beautiful country.
Beautiful country. You got to do that. Well, you got to be inspired. Maybe he just also wasn't like, with Giles, because he mixed this whole thing, you see. Giles Martin mixed the entire 8 hours. Maybe he just was kind of like uncomfortable with like some stuff. He was like, I'm not into this song.
Did he do like the spoken word audio and stuff like that too? I don't know if he'd even be capable.
I don't think he.
I don't think he'd be
his name's
capable.
at the end. And if I'll tell you what,
maybe the music or something.
if he has fucking seen that whole concert, I'll go after him.
We've seen it.
We've seen it with Donnie Harrison and shit. They've
private
screenings, exactly. I want to know who's seen it. I need to know. I need names. I want to know who's seen it.
You know what I've seen, though, that I will give him credit for?
What?
Is the part after where they're all like partying in the control room at the end. I rewatched that. That's cool. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
But, I'd be partying too if I was privy to what they did, as they were. And
we're
Maureen
not.
and everybody was.
We're not privy.
No.
The joke's on us still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Phil Spector heard it.
Oh, for sure.
He's in jail. He's dead.
He's dead, I think.
But
we were talking about him because I ordered.
How is he the producer?
I don't know how
Hilarious.
he's the producer. It must be in his contract, like if he does a mix, like
he is basically like it's
has
the
to be
Beatles and
credited as exactly like Phil Spector songs by Spector
featuring
and Cohen.
the Beatles.
Yeah, a classic. No, because I ordered. There's this record by Dion called "Born to Be with You."
Yeah,
this like late '70s Spector produced.
Is it on Spotify?
I don't know, but they only pressed the LP
I'm a big
in
Spotify
the
guy,
UK.
right?
You're a big Spotify guy?
Oh yeah, fuck it. Why not?
And so
military complex.
I found out that you could order it.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for the LP for years. Phenomenal.
Does he do the cover of Purple Haze on that?
No.
Okay.
But I ordered it and I got it, and we were talking about Spectre because we were listening to it. It was really good, and kind of wondering how that all went down.
Yeah.
He shot that woman in the face.
Yeah.
And how they just deemed it wasn't accidental.
Yeah, I mean, I think make friends and influence people. In America, if you're a white man with money, you can do anything you want.
No, but he went to jail for it.
Oh, so the most recent time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably he didn't.
There was just no way to cover it up.
Not this time.
Yeah.
I think this one was,
I'd have to rewatch that movie with Al Pacino as Phil Spector. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, and he's relentless. He's Gucci in the newest movie, isn't he? Or Versace or whatever. He's like, no, it's Gucci, House of Gucci. And he plays like just another Italian role. Like, it's brilliant.
I love him in that Phil Spector one. He's just Pacino doing Spector.
Yeah.
He's like, I did Darlene Love, the Ronettes.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah. I need the Ronettes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
that vibe. Yeah. Same character in every movie.
Uh-huh.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So let's kind of diving back in to a documentary I watched recently called Get Back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just wondered what you thought. You have to go back in your mind a little bit.
Get Back.
We already talked about in the last episode about me and Johnny had a particularly interesting viewing of it. So you might not remember these moments. I don't know, but
I skimmed the whole thing.
Again. Did you think when Paul got on the piano when Billy Preston was playing the Rhodes and kind of like dueled up with him, that was just a crazy flex, a crazy embarrassing flex that really, really reinforces your hottest take. That Paul just didn't want him there. Or do you think Paul is just the kind of guy who just like doesn't notice those things and he's just sort of spectrum almost?
I think by that point he maybe did want him there or was definitely tolerating it.
Yeah.
And B, I just think he can't resist a piano in a room. I just think literally...
Even if you're around someone who's so much better than you,
Yeah, I think he's just like
I'm into it.
He'll jam with anyone, anytime. I'm surprised him and Stills didn't kind of get together and do some nose candy.
That's true,
and
actually. Well,
jam for like 20
Yeah, you'd think so.
days.
You wonder, like, why Paul didn't jam more, actually.
He probably did.
Whereas there's no,
In
like...
the books you see in like the Nilsson book and the ones I've read, he's popping up jamming.
But he's not like... He's not on any like kind of super sessions, you know what I mean?
Well, that's where the ego comes in. He's like, I'm not going to be on the record unless it's like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Or like, unless it's going to be like a top 5 hit.
Yes.
He doesn't he's not cool like that. He's not like all drop in and like play on your record.
Although he did with Steve Miller.
In the 60s. He was still kind of cool there, probably.
We should sort of go really kind of look at that connection again.
Where he reused
the Fly Like an Eagle riff is probably a Paul riff.
Yeah, that was a big take. That and like Bob Dylan writing The Weight were big things to find out on this podcast.
We should do a kind of like top 15, kind of like takes that are true.
Like, no, if it was like an internet clickbait thing, it'd be like 10 things that we never thought
predicted. Like, and like, what was the guy, like the famous guy who predicted everything in the
Nostradamus.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're like the Nostradamus.
Yeah,
like of classic rock.
Yeah, but we're looking into the past rather than the future.
Yeah, but that's what makes it more of a Christopher Nolan thing.
Right.
I actually, this morning, I woke up at about 8:30. And I went to sleep at a reasonable hour. I watched Succession. I don't know if you watched that before I went to bed. Watched an episode, the newest episode of Succession. Then I watched Time Team with Tony Robertson, Baldrick from Blackadder. It's very complicated to explain. English people listening, listen, get into it. We're all older now. It's fantastic. A little bit of kind of psychogeography, landscape of the mind stuff.
You like that word, psychogeography?
It's my whole world, man. It's not even a word, is it?
I don't know.
To me, it makes sense. It's great, Time Team. Anyway, I watched that and I went to bed at a reasonable hour. And then I woke up this morning at 8:30 and I just was like, I'm going away this week, right, playing shows. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep more. And I did. And I slept for like another hour. And then I woke up again. And I was like, I think I'm going to go to sleep again for a bit. And I was inceptioning. I was like totally inceptioning.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew because every time I go to sleep, the dream I was having was more strange than the last one.
Yeah.
Culminating in a really strange dream.
I feel like I only dream in the morning. Is that a thing?
I don't know, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but possible. I know what you mean. If you get up, if you keep going down, I know.
I went down like 4 levels. And you know what? Even at the 4th level, where I was like in some kind of brief encounter with a woman who used to employ me, who's probably in her 70s now, and we were kind of in some weird apartment complex. Even there, I didn't have access to the Let It Be rooftop concert.
Wow.
So I don't know where I'm going to find it. I haven't even
seen the whole thing in my dreams.
You haven't?
And even my dreams
that's what I mean.
Had been Beatlesy.
Maybe that's I've had Beatlesy dreams recently. Yeah. But I don't know how we're going to get it. Maybe that's where we're going to have to kind of do something like that.
Well, I do agree. Like, I know we're joking around, but I do agree that we should perhaps start a petition.
I think so.
An iWall petition is a good idea.
I think so too. And there are like things like, you sometimes see it like with like other things like, I don't know, like that are also equally important. Like, making Priti Patel like change the immigration policy to stop refugees dying in the English Channel.
Sure.
Or like stop putting children in cages on the border, like a petition. Mm-hmm. I think alongside things like that, we could have a kind of like release the tapes, Peter Jackson.
Right.
All you need is love.
Exactly.
The world needs
Bring back the McRib.
Bring back the McRib. That would be kind of, that would be there.
That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not exactly that. Yeah.
No. I honestly am saying right now, here and now.
I'm saying it too.
That if we make this petition and make it concise and clear what we're saying,
it'll be massive.
A lot of people are going to get into this.
I agree.
Like, and if we can get one of these motherfuckers to hear it and read it,
Yeah.
Peter Jackson, Giles Martin, Trevor from Space Hog,
Joaquin Phoenix,
Paul McLennan, George McCartney,
Linda McCartney's Instagram. Whoever's running Linda McCartney's Instagram.
Billy Shears, whoever the hell it is.
Whoever, I want to know who's running the Beatles' Instagram. Get them involved.
Yeah. And
who the fuck
they
does
may
Peter
have
Jackson
to make a
think
cut.
he is?
They may have to make a
Who
cut.
does he think he is? Who, like, the power in his hands? Seriously. Imagine having those tapes as a Beatles fan. Like, you're a Beatles fan.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Safe to say.
Uh-huh.
And so am I. And you get, like, you know, the Philosopher's Stone.
Here's what I do. Get a bottle of tequila.
Right.
I'd head up to the Holiday Court Motel up on Kingsway.
Yeah.
Mattress in front of the door in the
100%
window.
Memento style.
Throw on the rooftop concert.
Yeah.
Hook up
it was
my
like the end, basically
MacBook
the
Air.
end of LA Confidential.
Yeah, hook up my MacBook.
I'd probably head to, well, I'd be scared to show anyone else for sure.
Just start mixing.
Just a big old bag of Coke.
So here,
Do you think you'd just mix like just on Logic?
Oh yeah.
Or you think you'd like, you know, maybe like
I'd be curious to hear if the Beatles recording sounded as good if I just used like Logic compressors and EQs and stuff.
Well, you've been having a tough time with Logic compressors.
Well, I don't
recently.
use them anymore.
No.
I learned my lesson there. Yeah. But imagine if you did it, you like mixed it and you're like, holy shit, sounds as good. Just as good.
I saw Eric Valentine.
Giles Martin's a fraud, dude.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that that's even
I bet you I could
question.
remix Let It Be. I'm not even good at mixing.
I'm pretty sure.
I bet you I could mix it as good as Giles Martin.
I'm pretty sure it's mixed already. That's the thing. I'm pretty sure that audio is already mixed.
Well, yeah, Glenn's doing it like
it's
on the fly.
Like it's not like they mix anything.
No,
it's done already.
Yeah,
it's mixed.
Yeah.
So Peter Jackson,
the playback in the room sounded done.
It's
when they recorded it.
There's no such thing as mixing back then.
No,
they don't mix anything.
Yeah.
Like, so you thinking it's a live concert?
Yeah.
Peter Jackson gets the concert.
Yeah.
He gets the audio and the video, and he puts them together in time.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen people do this.
Yeah.
And then he watches it all himself. And he's like Madeleine Albright being asked, like, do you think that, you know, you're you cutting your sanctions in the Middle East were potentially responsible for the death of 500,000 children. Right. And her being asked this, and she's like, I think it was worth it. Because that, like, with great power comes great responsibility. And Peter Jackson's watched this and thought, no one needs to see this other than me. What a lunatic, you know. I actually am scared a bit. I'm scared of it, of his kind of, you know, maniacal tyranny.
Yeah.
Because
and also, why lie to us? Why lie?
Why lie?
All
why
the
tell us we're going to
advertising.
see it?
First article I read.
Yeah.
Rooftop concert finally after
revealed.
50 years will be shown in its entirety.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't see the whole thing, did you?
So what we need to do for the petition is find those articles if they still exist. If, like, you know, he hasn't got Zuckerberg, Bezos, etc. Jack Dorsey's probably our best bet. He just quit Twitter to just invest purely in Bitcoin.
Take this one further. Who do we know over in New Zealand? Bust into the studio, dude. Get the tapes.
It's true. My uncle lives there.
Maybe he'd do it.
He probably would. Actually, we could get like the mega upload guy, Kim.com.
Oh, we need a hacker.
Yeah.
Because it's on his computer.
It's on his computer. It's on his fucking
That's
MacBook
what we
Air,
need.
dude.
That's what we need.
It's Snowden.
Yeah.
Anyone listening knows
Get
how to
in
hack and who can get the files kind of like, you know, we're talking
80 hours.
We're talking kind of spy game style.
Yeah. And like I've said it once, I've said it before. I don't need the audio.
No.
Just the video. I'll play the record to it. It's perfect.
Exactly. It's already made.
Yeah, it's done.
This is the thing. We just need the video. Release the tapes.
Yes.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
If anyone knows,
he might have it on like his Google Drive or something.
It's probably
that's where I keep my stuff.
That's where I keep my stuff on Dropbox. If anyone knows how to get into Peter Jackson's Dropbox,
it might
Google
just be
Drive,
like Peter Jackson at
hotmail.com.
Yeah.
Probably.
.nz.com.
Presumably it's an NZ. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, maybe we need to reach out to Jacinda Ardern. She seems pretty reasonable. the prime minister there.
Yeah.
You know, she's all for like, paid maternity leave and kind of all this kind of exciting new stuff. Maybe she also thinks we just need to release the
draft
tapes.
up an order, so to speak, a kind of a you've been served, sir.
Oh, I see.
Send over like a clerk.
A clerk, okay.
To serve him.
I think it's going to be in someone's interests. Someone more famous than us and more, I mean, this could be like a grassroots thing.
But it'll start here.
It's starting
with the petition.
It's starting right now.
I'm serious. Put it out. People have fun with that over Christmas.
Oh, it's a good Christmas
Pass it
thing.
around.
Yeah. Christmas present.
It's funny.
Sign it.
If I saw that.
All dads are going to... If you went to your dad or any dad ever and was like, it's really nice being back here with your dad. He's like, yes, son. You're like, the only thing I can wish, a Christmas miracle, would be if I could just watch the rooftop concert with you. But I can't. We can't.
Here's what it's going to say.
Okay.
We'll make it better later. No, but I'm serious. It's going to be... So if I saw this pop up on my feed, I would totally share it.
Of course, yeah.
Would just be like, we the people who are Beatles fans demand that...
the people versus Peter Jackson.
Exactly. That the video of the entire Beatles rooftop concert final performance be released without any cutaway to the street, to the basement of Apple.
No, none of it.
I'll take the odd cutaway to perhaps people there watching on the roof.
No, I think we need to stay firm.
Okay.
Because, there's going to be concessions.
Any camera angle that shows a Beatle performing will do.
Yeah.
But preferably one that the ones that are the clearest of all four of them would be...
the one.
Yeah.
I just want the one that's there, just filming them all.
You can get all four? Okay, that's good.
I don't even care. I just want to
As long as they're all four there, yeah.
Billy as well a bit.
But you're right. No, Billy's not in any of them. We'll have to...
They hid him, didn't they?
Yeah, we'll have to sacrifice that.
Do you think they hid him?
He's like behind.
Yeah.
He's not even in it.
Yeah.
They didn't film him at all, really.
No. Did you think when they were recording Let It Be, I noticed when they were rehearsing it, and based on the documentary, they'd been rehearsing it for fucking months.
Yeah.
Because he kept playing it all the time. They played Don't Let Me Down like one time.
I think it was like 8 days, but yeah, it felt like months.
8 days of him playing Let It Be.
Yeah.
And he says at one point, it just sounds slow and plodding to the band.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, it's because it's slow, it's Let It Be. It's like Helpless or something. That's what it is. I was like, what did he think he was trying to write? And I was wondering if it was kind of like he was, thinking before, Jodorowsky's Dune, it's like, they didn't have the kind of imagination or foresight as a movie community to create, a science fiction piece like that. And it took Star Wars to sort of blow the bloody doors off, you know? And I just wonder if McCartney's thinking of Let It Be as kind of like a Meatloaf power ballad. Like he's kind of like, that's what it should be. Like big guitars.
He might not even know it, but yeah.
Like, because...
I think he's more thinking probably
classic, like kind of 80s
it's going to be like that. He probably thinks it's supposed to be like Ray Charles or something. I've heard it say that a couple times. That he's like Long and Winding Road. He's like, I've only ever heard it in my head like it's like Ray Charles band. You know,
they can splice all the footage they want of Long and Winding Road, and they try to in this, and it's still not a good song.
Yeah, I don't.
And
like
there's
that
a lot of splicing footage of it.
Yeah.
For about like, and I'd like to see that actually. I'd like a breakdown of sort of airtime within the 3 documentaries of the songs.
Yeah.
Like how much time each song got. Not as a way to criticize Paul McCartney, but just to see the ways in which they wrote. Because it feels to me, Don't Let Me Down actually in the first episode is in quite a bit. But it's very, I mean, I guess the record's McCartney heavy, but sort of like maybe also just to do with their process. George seems very comfortable to be like, no, it's good, we're good. That's what I hear it like. Whereas Paul's really finicky and kind of, he's never happy. Same with George. John's kind of like, Yeah, it's good. That's what it is. It's a little rock and roller. You know?
You know what else we should add to the petition?
Please.
I know I'm getting a bit greedy. Also, I'd like to see if it's the final version that they use on the album.
Yeah.
Let's see the whole recording of Get Back.
Absolutely.
For You Blue.
Yeah.
To just on the DVD. Like, I just want to be able to toggle 100%. Through and watch them all.
Presumably this stuff is going to come out in drips.
I worry about the roof, though, because they have to re-edit that then.
But it's going to come out in drips and you're going to have to pay for it, right? That's what they're doing.
I don't even know if they're going to do it, man. They might just leave it at this.
Why wouldn't they do it?
Because Peter Jackson's got to make the Silmarillion or whatever the hell the...
Oh, he's doing the Mandalorian or something?
No, what's the...
Silmarillion?
Yeah, the Silmarillion.
He's doing the Silmarillion?
I think he's doing another...
I don't think anything happens in the Silmarillion. It's just about the language
they'll
and shit.
Add in
singing and shit
they'll
in
add
like
some
weird
shit
languages.
They'll add Sauron as like a young... bad boy.
Origin story.
Yeah, it's played by like...
Timothy Chalamet.
No, he'll be like a young Aragorn or something.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, sure. Young Sauron. Yeah.
It's kind of like a school shooter vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe they'll have him. It'll be like in the modern day, and he'll be like a school shooter.
Yeah,
he's into Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
you hear that Marilyn Manson recently got in trouble for like having like a dungeon that he kept women in and stuff.
Not surprising.
It's always the people you least expect, isn't it? Who was that twiggy chick who was hanging around?
Not sure.
In the control
Don't
room.
know.
She was with Glenn?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maureen, look, in the end, when they're all partying at the end.
Maureen is just...
She looked like a really good hang.
She's a good girl.
She's a good hang.
I mean? Yeah.
Maureen She looked like fun.
Yeah, I thought she looked like a good time. Of course she's a good time. She's fucking hanging out with Ringo.
Yeah, they were having fun in the. There's a great part at the end too, where like Linda and Paul are holding hands, and they have a close up on it, and then Ringo's hand goes onto their hand with the ring on it, and then they start, and then they show. It's really sweet.
That's nice.
That's how it ends, I think.
Yeah, I got to rewatch it.
It was better than I remembered that night. But definitely, Release the Tapes is a real thing.
Release the Tapes is a real thing.
We're going to do the petition. This is
100%.
exciting. Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I like it that we sort of organically stumbled upon this in the last episode too. Where it was like, we realized actually like, I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah.
You were pissed when it was happening in real time. Me and Matt, who we watched it with, were a little behind you. I was like, no, but I kind of thought he was still... I was like, there's like 2 hours left of this fucking thing. They're bound to show it all. I thought it was going to be curtains open. Here you are. Here it is. And when they started not showing you them
It got worse and worse.
It got worse and worse, yeah. To the point that you had to just go home.
It was like they showed Get Back pretty much in its entirety. And they're like, we gave them that. Now let's do all the street stuff mostly. Which is like, I'm sorry.
Who would care? I mean, I guess you kind of uncovered that interesting like kind of criticism of the movie, that it was a bit disappointing that like Chris Martin didn't even cut to him just saying like Beatles, wow, love them.
Luke sent us that. Dave Grohl.
Yeah, genuinely pissed Dave Grohl wasn't in there just to kind of tell us.
They said like, kind of bummed there wasn't some, like sort of some analysis from some more modern, and then they actually said like it would have been great if Dave Grohl. Yeah, it's amazing that he's the guy.
He's paying.
He's an authority.
I've realized now. I was thinking about this earlier in the shower because I sort of feel a little bit bad because I actually like realized like I went on tour with one of the Foo Fighters.
Wow.
Yeah, like for a month, and he was like such a nice guy, and it was such a great time.
Who is it? Like
Nate, the bass player. He was such a nice guy, and I feel like I've just been like kind of talking about Dave Grohl, like not just. I mean, I think you have to hold people to account. I don't think I've said anything that's mean. Just think, it's curious. And Nate was really, really nice, a really nice guy, and but I was thinking about because I've met Dave Grohl one time. And I realized I hadn't told that story. And it's weird because I read, like, on Instagram, like, his story about meeting Paul McCartney, which obviously was circling, recently because of because we're in a Beatlesy kind of time.
Yeah.
And it was about how like he was like, Dave went to see, I don't even fucking remember, like when he was like in London, ends up at the concert for George, hanging out with Paul McCartney. It's all this kind of stuff. And he's like, fucking just, this is crazy. I'm hanging out with Paul McCartney. I'm like going to jam with it. I didn't even remember. And then he like called his mom to be like, Mom, you won't believe it. Like I've met Paul McCartney. And it's quite like a nice story.
Yeah.
But then I was remembering when I met Dave Grohl, and I don't have a relationship with Dave Grohl in those terms. Like I like Nirvana, but
sure,
that's it. But I played a show, and he came to the show with the full Foo Fighters. They were in the audience at the Troubadour. And that you'd think is like, that's cool, like good for them, like fucking wicked. But Jeff reminded me of this from my band. The loudest person in the entire bar, cheering, heckling, booing, having a good time, partying, making jokes, louder than everyone, was Dave Grohl. He was like, Dave Grohl's here. I'm here. I'm at the Troubadour. And that was kind of weird anyway. But then we went to an
after... This was the Yukon Blonde
show?
show?
Yeah. And then but he was there to see his friend. He wasn't there to see us. He was there to see Nate from his band play a show. But like, he was like, he wasn't like chilling, being humble or he was like, I'm out. And that's cool. Like, be out with your friends. Do your thing.
Do you think...
What?
This is a really hot take. That maybe he was kind of trying to do a John Lennon at the Troubadour thing.
A little bit.
Like heckling.
Yeah, I do.
Because it's like he's a Beatlesy guy. He's like, oh, do the Lennon-Nilsson Lost Weekend thing.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But also just like, like I'm here and I'm bigger than you all, motherfuckers.
That's the Lennon move.
Yeah, exactly. And then after the show, there was an after show kind of party in the Troubadour, and Graham, our drummer, talked to Dave Grohl, went and talked to Dave Grohl and kind of said like, I'm a really big fan. Mm-hmm. And Dave Grohl was like, don't fucking do this here, man. And like, didn't want to be Dave Grohl then. Like was kind of like, didn't switch gears.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just thinking about it and I was like,
nicest guy in rock and roll, my ass.
And I was just thinking, I feel bad saying this stuff a little bit because I had a really nice time on this tour and I hope it doesn't kind of come across like salacious or condescending, but like, I've wondered why I haven't wanted to tell that story. And now I think about it, I'm like, because it was fucking weird. Bit of a John Lennon vibe. I mean, and then you think, you need a bit of rock and roll.
Don't do this here.
Don't do this here, man. I'm trying to fucking party with my friends.
And Grandma just played a show? Like,
yeah. I think he was weird. Graham was probably fucking drunk and wanted to be like, I mean, I don't love Dave Grohl. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not a drummer and shit. So I think he's like, Nirvana are good.
Right.
They're pretty good.
I just more mean like it's surprising considering Dave Grohl's reputation that he would react that way.
The only reason I bring this up is because he has the nicest guy rock and roll kind of personality. That's the only reason.
That is a surprising outcome to that story.
He kind of did a like Lost Weekend, No Pussyfootin' style kind of setup, and then was like, "Oh, fucking talk to me in here, man. I'm just trying to fucking hang out and party."
Showboating for the crowd.
Exactly.
And then as soon as the
soon as
public's
they
gone,
go, he's back to like, I'm a fucking star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah.
Was that the same night Jackson Browne was there?
Jackson Browne was there a different night.
For you. Oh, different night.
Different night at the Troubadour when Jackson was there. He was there. I bet
you he actually is a nice guy.
Yeah, except he's famously like kicks the shit out of women. So like, everyone has.
I didn't know that.
Everyone has a kind of. Everyone has a problem. Yeah, he kind of famously did that. So.
Did he? Yikes.
Yeah, and
he hung around with the Eagles. So
yeah, exactly. And I'm not.
Say no more.
I get yeah, exactly. Also, it's this mid-70s, man. You know what I mean? A lot of drugs. Barely anyone. We're talking about John Lennon, famous.
Oh.
Wife beater.
After that night at the Troubadour.
Probably.
I think so. I read the book.
Straight to May Pang. Couldn't take it out in the Troubadour.
No, I think he went back to the house they were staying at and destroyed the house. Yeah. Trashed the house.
And then doesn't remember.
Yeah. Literally like chock full of anger, that guy.
Yeah. It's Something, isn't it?
Maybe that's why he made so many jokes all the time. Like it's like you were talking about, but also like to kind of suppress the anger and stuff.
Of course.
You know?
It
like,
needs to come out in different ways.
Uh-huh.
Play the drums. That's a way for it to come out.
Sure.
You know?
Scream therapy.
Scream therapy.
Jokes,
I wonder if scream therapy like unleashed it. Like he should have just like kept with the goofy jokes, sublimating his anger through like in the classic way a northern male would, by just pretending everything's fine. It's worked pretty well for like all my ancestors. And then he gets together with an artist who's like, you know, I don't know if you ever had a girlfriend when you were younger, like who kind of like wanted you to like open up. You know, it's a classic northern male energy. You know, from Northern Ireland, your family, your dad, right? You know, I can appear checked out at times, but I'm not. And, you know, you have someone giving you, read this Anais Nin, like, you need to open up, like, you just read The Catcher in the Rye. I was like, I've already read it. Like, you know, it's fine. It's like, you should talk about how you feel. It's like, I don't want to stare too deep into that abyss.
Right.
Really.
Right.
I don't know what happens.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't want to, because I might end up at the Troubadour fucking screaming at Johnny Payne playing a show.
It's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, John might have kind of hit a nerve inside.
Yeah, he didn't need to like scratch that itch too hard.
Although I think he was before that I think he was kind of the same guy the whole time.
Maybe.
I think Cynthia's told some stories too about.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's all this, you know, In My Life, that McCartney song, he kind of talks about it.
I think it's more like after the Primal Scream stuff, and then like him, I think his ego blowing up and not having anyone to keep him in check besides Yoko.
Yeah.
Particularly the Lost Weekend, because he didn't even have Yoko.
No,
if you let him off the leash,
and you're like, your only guy is the guy who's like, I'll go further than you, pal.
Well, yeah,
like,
Beatles.
I'll keep going. Nielsen's just like, well, we're just getting started.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just drink all night and like be fine.
I'm
kind
fine.
of. And then all of a sudden he looks over and John's like beating the shit out of a bellboy. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. And Nilsson's like...
And the bellboys like can't fight back because it's John Lennon.
So many stories that Nilsson's like pulling him off. Something like just like... But it's like...
Yeah.
You know, I think that...
Maybe McCartney made the right choice.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like he had Epstein... Then he had the other Beatles to kind of be like, hey, what are you doing?
To be Beatlesy.
Yeah, then he had Yoko kind of just keeping him on a short leash.
Sort of fan the flames a bit.
Yeah,
though.
well, she did by when she was like, go off with May Pang, which was her decision. Do your thing. Oh, yeah. She set the whole thing up.
Really?
Oh, yeah. May Pang like said Yoko called her and was like, John's like wanting time away from me, and I want you to be his girlfriend. So she could control the situation. And she'd call them like 4 times a day and talk to May and like tell her, make sure he does. Oh, dude, it's the most amazing book.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
This is May Pang's book?
Yeah. Loving John. It's so good. I have it. I'll give it to you. You read it in a day. It's twisted. And then as soon as Yoko was like, oh, it's time for me to, she just called him and was like, I'm taking him back now. And he went back the next day.
How many years?
Like a year. Or something.
A year in Hollywood.
And like New York, they kind of went back and forth. They got an apartment together, him and May Pang. And Dakota, he was sort of like, I'm really going to leave Yoko for good. And then all of a sudden, Yoko made the call. And it was like, that's the whole hypnotism. Like,
well, yeah, he was hypnotized.
Yeah.
Do you think he was hypnotized?
She does. Like, she says he came back like the next day, like he didn't even know her and just like grabbed his stuff and left. Really weird.
Yeah. He probably was hypnotized. She seems to
she has like some like evidence to it, like she knew the person who Yoko was friends with, who was like, and apparently John was super susceptible to that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like his brain was fragile and fried from all the drugs, and was like, but it's a really bizarre story. Like the call, like that's the stuff people don't know, that like she'd just call every night and like the three of them would like talk, and then John and May Pang would be having sex, and like it's bizarre stuff.
Didn't she just work at the label?
She worked at the label and kind of got hired as their personal assistant.
Okay.
And then
groomed.
Yeah, by Yoko. Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty much it.
Not redemptive, this Yoko stuff.
A lot of people think that Yoko also wanted to have an affair with this guitar player who was like a little bit of a fling. So she was like, oh, yeah. She just ran the whole show.
Yeah.
Like sent John off to do his thing. And then when John got too self-destructive, she kind of like figured she needed to step in again. And like, obviously, you know, the money stuff, I think, has a big part to play in
the money
in their
stuff
relationship.
that what you saw glimpses of in the Peter Jackson documentary was some of the most sickening moments of the documentary.
Well, and you don't in this
licking
book,
their lips.
Now that I'm
about Alan Klein's
Now that
ability.
I think about it, in this book, May Pang goes on in detail about Yoko's obsession with money, and she'd go out and buy like tens of thousands of dollars worth of clothes, and then just like throw them around, never wear them. Insisted on taking a limo everywhere in New York, like even like 5 blocks, and like.
I mean, we need to cross-reference a lot of this stuff.
I'm not trying to diss Yoko. This is stuff that I've read.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought she looked pretty hot when she smiles, and she was wearing a kind of like white art hipster kind of like denim and a white shirt, kind of Fluxus vibe.
Yeah,
But
she's a
she
cool
seemed
artist
money-hungry
too,
to me.
and I like that record, "Feeling the Space," a lot.
Yeah, you
that
like
she
her
made
music.
during that time.
Yeah.
It's really good. We at the record plant with like all the session guys who play with John and stuff. Really good record. It's cool.
Well, you know, I guess next episode, we'll get a guest on. We'll kind of do some reaction.
Yeah, we'll get Bleeker or something.
Yeah, Bleak is in.
What do I mean or something? It's all lined up.
Oh, it's all, yeah, exactly. Okay. I forget.
Show me the schedule.
I just forget the order, yeah.
Show me the schedule after.
Okay, everyone, have a really good rest of your day.
Beatles, Beatles, Beatles.